back to another episode of Garbear Fitness. First things first, excuse this mess behind my room. I just got done setting this dresser up, and my room's a pig pen because, as you guys know, I moved a couple weeks ago, so I've been taking care of things here slowly. So today's topic of discussion, I don't even know where I came up with this idea at, but I was looking at my, so I have a spreadsheet I have that I track all my workout routines on, and I've tracked it since October of last year. And I started doing that recently, just so I kind of can gauge, what exactly I'm doing and making sure to continue growing. I'm not always doing the same thing. So I decided I'll make a video about that today, and the importance of tracking progress. And especially when it comes to training in the gym, tracking progress is very important because you need to see where you started at, and you need to see where you're currently at, and making sure that at some point something's changing. Now, when I began working out, I would have my routine written down on pieces of paper, and I would take it to the gym every day. And then after a while, I would stop taking it to the gym because, after a while, you kind of memorize what you're doing, And then sometimes, though, like I would supposedly remember what I was doing, and then I would switch things up, and then I hadn't written them down. So I would continuously do the same thing that I was originally doing because I'd be forgetting to change it into the new system. And I was like, tracking progress is good, but you just do this or that, like it's not very important. But my belief today is tracking progress is very, very important. And I always use the Excel sheet I have to gauge kind of, what I'm doing and what I was currently doing and what I'm changing. And in the sense of, it doesn't even have to be like, when you're doing a workout routine, it doesn't have to be like, instead of going from 4 sets to 5 sets, it doesn't even have to be as big as changing an entire workout. It could just be changing, the time under tension you have. Like now, sometimes, I train in the morning, so I usually do 2 days on in a week, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off. So what I'll do sometimes is, obviously towards, the end of the week, I'm very exhausted. I may not feel like lifting very heavy. So what I'll do is I'll pick an intermediate weight, and then I'll do a time under tension increase. So I'll hold it, and like when I contract it, like say for chest, because my chest develops very fast. So I usually train that at the end of the week. So I'll increase the time under tension, and I may, instead of doing, 80 or 90 pound incline dumbbells, I may do 60, 70 or 70 pound dumbbells, and I may do a pause rep of 5 seconds, so that my body's getting a different kind of stress if I don't have the energy to train as heavy. But I'm doing something that I don't do all the time, and I'm kind of finding different ways to continuously challenge myself, because when you've been working out for years, you're always wondering how you can continue to challenge yourself, because you feel like you've been doing so many things very similar over years and years of time. So it's good to make sure that your system, if you're currently using like a certain training system, and when I say system, I mean your training routine, regimen, however you guys want to call it. I call it training systems. You want to make sure that it's working, whether you do need to change it or not, but to keep in mind, that you can tweak the smallest things. So for example, I start my week off now with legs, which I've never done in the 8 years I've worked out. So I start my week off now with legs, and even changing the days you train a muscle it's huge for your body to recognize, because it's your body's expecting to start with shoulders or chest or back or whatever on Monday, and it's like, holy shit, now it's now you're throwing me off. The body doesn't know what it's doing now because it's training legs, so it's a different shock, and you always want to make sure you're shocking your body. So I'll start off with legs on Monday. Tuesday, it depends on what I feel needs to be trained that week. So I usually generally choose between shoulders and back, and I usually spend time looking in a mirror, posing and stuff like that, and then I make sure, my front delt looks like it's lacking more than, the necessity to train my back right now, so I'll hit my shoulders. So let's say I do, legs Monday, shoulders on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'll spend time, resting, relaxing, sleeping, things like that. Stretching, because stretching, guys, is very important. Foam rolling, massaging my muscles, because I have a massage ball now, because I actually have an injury on my left delt. So I'm off Wednesday. Thursday, I'll pick back up. Now Thursday, I'll usually pick up, if I do shoulders on Tuesday, I'll usually do back on Thursday, legs on Friday, and then chest on I guess Saturday. So now this week, I've been doing that, for I'd say about a month. And I feel like my body has slowly continued to develop more. As you guys will realize though, in the later stages of your training, it does take longer for your body to develop. So where was I at? Okay, so now this week what I'm trying to do is I feel like my chest is slacking a little bit because again, remember at the end of the week, I don't feel like training as heavy. I make sure the intensity I train it is high, but I'm not training as heavy. So, I don't ever train chest before I do my final upper body group. Chest is usually the last day of my week. So today when I go to the gym, Thursday, I'm going to do chest instead of, back or shoulders. And that's mainly because I want to just make sure that I have a heavy day for my chest, which I haven't had, in a couple weeks, and I want to shock my body again. And I actually am writing down and tracking this on my Excel sheet right now. So it's good to continually switch that up, like my body's going to not know kind of what I'm doing today, and because it's not the end of the week where you're exhausted, I'm going to be able to push my chest a little bit harder. And it's good to kind of rotate those days up every now and then and kind of see what you need to work on that day, because I do realize that when I used to have an exact training, like Monday, legs, Tuesday, I shouldn't say legs, I should say Monday, shoulders, Tuesday, back, Wednesday, legs, like for months and months and months, like you realize how bored you get, And it's good to always to keep challenging yourself, not just physically, but mentally in the gym. Because when you get bored, you stop training as hard, and then you start realizing, wow, like I'm not pushing any more weight, I'm not training as hard, I'm not gaining any weight or losing weight, my body's not changing anymore. So that's like the main reason why it's very, very important to keep track of your progress, guys. And it doesn't even have to relate to the gym. It can relate to businesses, it can relate to, relationships, it can relate to, increasing the ability of if you have trouble reading, like it can apply to anything, your finances. I do the same thing, for Garbear Fitness. I track, simple things like, how much money comes in, how much money comes out, okay, well, am I promoting as much this month as I am this month? My clients' work, am I making sure I'm tracking that and keeping up with them? And then, tracking about how well I'm doing as a trainer. Like it's just, small things to do so that you can look back and realize, how far you've gone. Like sometimes when I'm on YouTube, like I think now I'm probably closing in on my 70th, I feel like that's not even a word, 70th YouTube video. And I sometimes go back and watch how I was when I began, and the reason I will never delete my old YouTube videos, because you'll see the quality of the filming improve, you'll see how I spoke improve, you'll see how my introductions have changed and improved. Just the quality of the content and how comfortable I am in front of a camera. That's gradually gone up over time from practice and experience, trial and error. And that's what it's all about, guys, is just, making sure that you're trying different things and again, experimenting and seeing what, you're growing from. So I'll never delete my old YouTube videos because I like going back and realizing how far I've come and how uncomfortable I was. Because when I first started filming, I felt like I was talking in front of literally like an inanimate object, and after a while, you start feeling like you're talking to an audience because people are starting to watch your stuff. So I'll sometimes go back at my old stuff and then realize, maybe I could do this discussion again, but improve on it, or, someone may actually want to see. Because when I look at people's YouTube channels, I love watching how they've grown, especially when it's someone I know. And that's very important, guys, to just make sure that you are always continuously pushing forward and growing, no matter what aspect or field you're doing. But I kind of just wanted to relay that to you guys because it was something small I was working on, and I just want to make sure that you guys are keeping up with your tracking of progress, because you can find yourself looping month after month after month in the gym or anywhere in life if you're not keeping a measure of what you've done and where you're going with it. That was a short video, guys. Garbear Fitness, check it out, stay shredded. Make sure you guys do check out that nutrition guide. I actually have an excerpt from chapter 1 online on garbearfitness.com/guys. The link will be in the bio. All my social media will be in the bio. Any comments, questions, or concerns, shoot me a message on my Instagram at Watson Alexander. Let's keep making these gains, guys, and keep tracking that progress.